Ziggy Marsh here. Today, I'm going to be talking about the market manipulation that's happening within what I understand it that's happening around the market right now. Once again, disclaimer, I am not a financial professional. I'm not an advisor. I'm not a manager. I am an investor. I've been investing since 2012, since I got out of college, and even in college I was investing a bit. So this is going based on my own experience and what I understand. Basically what ends up happening is Gamestop, what everyone's hearing about Gamestop, was being what it's called short sold. You're seeing the things a lot of people saying it's being short squeezed, it's being squeezed. Well, what that means is, let's say GameStop has 60 million shares out in the world that you can buy in the marketplace. There are two ways you can invest in companies, for the most part. In this example, there's two ways you can invest in companies. You can invest in companies that they're going to do better in the future, or you can invest in companies that they're going to do worse in the future. Now, when you invest in companies that do better in the future, let's say you invest, let's say we'll use GameStop for example. GameStop was $45 and you invest that $45 to buy one share of GameStop. If that share, if let's say GameStop was to disappear tomorrow, you would lose $45. The other side, when it comes to short selling, isn't the same thing. Short selling essentially is doing is they're taking it, let's say, for example, for that same example, $45 for a share. What short selling is doing is they're borrowing shares that they don't own to sell to someone else, reap the benefits in a promise that they'll pay later. That's essentially, it's like craps. If you ever play craps, you have the pass line and the don't pass line. Once you roll a dice and you get, let's say, an 8 and the points on, people who play in the pass line, they're betting you're going to hit that 8 before you hit a 7, which, if you know in dice, 7 is the most common roll that you can get. It's the most likely roll you can get with 2 dice. The short sellers are basically playing a don't pass. You're going to hit 7 before you roll 8, and you get the odds accordingly. Now, normally your winnings when you play a don't pass is less than when you're playing a pass line, because essentially you have better odds you're going to hit that 7 than you're going to hit that 8. It's exactly what's the same thing that's happening with short selling. You have companies that are short selling GameStop because they're saying, oh, you're going to lose, you're going to lose, you're going to lose. And because they're tanking and they're selling shares at $3 and then selling it later for $2, as long as that keeps happening, they're going to keep making a lot of money. What Wallstreet bets comes in is the fact that they saw this. And when I said the example of the outstanding shares of 68 million shares, I say GameStop has 68 million shares that they're trying to sell. They did the research and saying that 140% of the outstanding shares they were short selling. So in a way, they're almost selling 2 shares when they don't exist. People in Wall Street bets are seeing this like, you have 100 million shares basically on loan right now. You have 100 million shares, let's say example, 100 million shares on loan right now, and there's only 68 million shares out in the market. I'm gonna buy shares and I'm gonna hold them, because when the callback comes, like when that loan, when they ask for their money back, you can't get my shares. I'm keeping them, which is why you're seeing GameStop jump from $30 to $300, because at least from my understanding, on Monday, they're gonna call their options. The call's gonna come. And when the call comes, a certain portion of their portfolio, those people who they borrowed their GameStop stock from are going to want their money back. So if you buy for a share for, let's say, $45, like an example, and for some reason the share goes up to $300, well, you need to pay them their share, so you better pay that $300. And that's why, and just think about that, multiply hundreds, thousands of times. No, GameStop's up, I think 2,000% right now, and it's going up even more. Like, actually, not 2,000%, it's a lot more than that, based on where it was, because at one point it was at $3. I was thinking about getting it at that point, but I didn't. Once again, not financial advice. But that's essentially what's happening. It's 140% short sale. Those guys are like, all right, I'm just going to buy shares and I'm going to hold on to them. And that's why Wall Street Bets is gaining momentum, because more people are buying more shares. And more people are buying more shares. And when that call comes on Monday, which I think that's what's supposed to happen, they're going to lose a buttload of money. And if that price is at $400, they must buy those shares. And what ends up going to happen is they're going to have to go in their pockets. And now, what you're seeing a commotion for is too much for him to handle, because the risk that you're taking when you're short selling like that is infinite. Is essentially infinite. And because of that, you're seeing, if you look on the news, $70 billion in losses in 48 hours. In 2 days. In 2 days, there's over $70 billion in losses, all going to the little guy. Now, they're combating this by controlling how many shares you can buy, because if you can't buy a lot of shares, the price can't fluctuate. So they're trying to control the shares, which is why you're reading, if you're trying to invest right now, they're trying to limit the number of stocks, and they're doing it a lot more now because they know that call's coming. That options call is going to be coming. Now, I could be wrong with some terms, but for the most part, this is how I understand it. That call is coming for those short sales. And they're hoping to drive that price low enough to where they're not going to go bankrupt. And everyone's colluding, because if you read, based on that $70 billion, it's over 5,000 hedge funds. Over 5,000 hedge fund managers, who are all colluding doing the same thing. And they're all about to lose billions of dollars. So they're all teaming up trying to stop the little guy from doing something. And not going to lie, they're going to probably succeed in some of it. They'd rather deal with a lawsuit than deal with $70 billion worth of losses. Not saying they already didn't lose, because they're already losing. And because they over leveraged with not just GameStop, but AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, they over leveraged by short selling all of these stocks. And now they're going to every company and they're doing all the same thing. And that's why, as days go on, you're seeing them restrict more and more companies. Those are the exact same positions they had, to where they over leveraged. It was a stupid investment. In my opinion, I'll have been so mad if I found out by my financial manager or a hedge fund manager short sold that much. Over 100% of outstanding shares, it was almost guaranteed to go up, which is why they're staying there. You have to get those shares to pay off your loans. You got to pay off those, you got to get those shares back. So all they're going to do is sit there and wait, and you're going to lose money regardless. That is a small introduction about what's happening when it comes to what's happening in the stock market. Like I said, I am not an advisor. I am just an investor. This video is more to try to inform some people who really don't understand what's going on about what's happening in the stock market. I am playing in the stock market. I've been playing for a while. I'm doing extremely well, though I'm trying to get in some of these more risky investments. Once again, that's what I'm doing, but that's not, I have my own investment strategy. And I've had skin in the game for a minute, so I'm taking some chances here. That's essentially what's happening. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe for this short video. There are going to be more videos coming out. I know this is the end, and I wanted to toss it in there for a little bit. The reason why I haven't been uploading as much as I have, because I have been building up a decent selection of videos that I could be playing, because currently I am, as I said before, I'm a real estate agent. There's 2 online businesses I'm trying to go create. There's investing I'm trying to do. There's a lot of things I'm doing. So I want to have some consistent content for you guys, because I do want to take, this is another business I'm trying to create. I want to make sure that I can help anyone I can help. If this information was able to help anyone, I think it was a great thing. So, and I'm going to end the video based on one quote that I absolutely love. And I've said this, and I'm going to be repeating this for a long time, because I want not just me, but you guys to live by this. It is a quote that I read from Walter Emerson back when I was in 7th grade. I was in middle school, and I was in English class. And in our English class, we always was giving a quote of the day. And this quote always sat with me. It was, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path, and make a trail." Now, I've tried to live my life that way as a professional athlete who's an investor, who owns real estate, who tries to build business. I've always tried to think differently and act differently, and I have reaped benefits of doing so. But I want my viewers, I want you guys to be able to think differently too. I want you to not think like everyone else. And I know everyone says, "Oh, sheep, sheep, sheep," and it's not really about all that. It's about understanding where you're at in the world, where your limitations are, so you can see a road ahead of you that you can chase, and a dream that you can go and want to chase. So, blaze that trail, control out.